Yes, we can
Yep.
see your screen now.
Cool.
Good.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rohan Kotla.
My name is Arjun Gowder.
My name is Kopu.
And our solution is called Disease Detector. So when you're in an outdoor environment, like when you're camping, hiking, or trekking, and you suddenly get a medical condition like a rash or a bruise, and you have no immediate access to a healthcare professional, how can we quickly identify what medical condition you have based on your symptoms and provide first aid treatment and other precautionary measures to prevent the condition from getting worse?
Some medical conditions present similarly, and it is hard to properly diagnose without knowing the specific symptoms. For example, sore throat versus strep throat, or hives versus poison ivy. In outdoor areas with poor reception, it may be impossible to figure out what condition you have without some assistance. Communicating with the doctor may take time, and unless it's an emergency, it could take up to 4 days to get an appointment with the doctor. That is why there needs to be a simple and efficient way to diagnose diseases or conditions in an outdoor environment and provide first step treatment. According to a survey we conducted, 70% of people do not know how to differentiate between sore throat and strep throat. The common flu and COVID-19 share 4 very common symptoms with each other, potentially making them very similar. And according to the CDC, there are 13 different skin diseases, some of which look similar, making them hard to differentiate from each other.
Introducing the Disease Detector app, which is a quick and easy way to diagnose diseases on the go. So what exactly is Disease Detector? The Disease Detector is an application that allows users to diagnose a disease or condition based on their symptoms. And this app is especially useful in an outdoor environment where medical assistance is not always accessible. The application follows the following steps in order to diagnose a disease or condition. It'll first ask a series of questions, starting with broad generic queries and progressively asking more specific and targeted questions in order to determine the condition. This app works on the same principles as Akinator, which attempts to guess the object you're thinking of by asking a series of questions. Next, if the disease or condition cannot be identified by questions alone, it'll ask the user to upload a picture, only if the medical condition is visible, like a rash. Then, the AI model will train and attempt to classify the image. The application will then display information about the disease, such as the name, symptoms, pictures, medications, accuracy percentage, etc. The app will finally display immediate treatment for that medical condition to alleviate symptoms before further medical assistance can be provided. Here's the flowchart we created that details the process of our app. Can you guys see this flowchart?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, cool. So first, the application will give the user two options of choosing the visible database for illnesses they can see or the non-visible database for illnesses that cannot be seen. So it'll first start by asking the user a series of questions, starting with generic, broad questions, and progressively getting to narrower and more specific questions. So an example of a generic question might be like what body parts the condition is affecting, whereas an example of a narrower question might be like the shape or color of a rash. And after that, the app will ask the user to upload a picture, and the model will train and attempt to classify the illness. Finally, it'll display information about the condition, such as the name, accuracy percentage, description, etc., and possible next step treatments. So we use various AI techniques throughout our solution. In the first part of the disease detector that tries to diagnose a condition based on questions, it'll be reinforced by supervised learning methods such as classification. After the application attempts to determine the condition, it uses classification in order to display an accuracy percentage at the end. Based on the user's responses to questions, the model will continuously classify the disease with a certain level of accuracy. This accuracy percentage will be shown to the user at the end of the process. In addition, we also use computer vision in order to differentiate between similar conditions, such as strep throat versus sore throat or hives versus poison ivy. Disease Detector asks the user to upload an image as part of the final step. It'll scan the picture given by the user, compare it to other pictures in the database, and classify it as a certain condition based on its properties. At the end, the user will also be given the option to contribute the image they uploaded to the Disease Detector database, so the database can be expanded. In order to create the actual application, we can potentially use this Kaggle dataset. And this dataset has a list of various medical conditions with several variables, such as symptom severity, symptom descriptions, and precautions to take. And with this data set, we will be able to ask targeted and specific questions to identify a condition. We created a Python program that models the Akinator part of our solution. And this is how our program looks like. Right now, it only has a couple of diseases and conditions in our database, which is relatively small. So let's say I have hives and I want to the program to diagnose it. So let me run the program. And can I see my disease? If I have hives, I can see it. Is it on my skin? Yes. Does it look like a rash? Yes. And it'll say that you probably have hives, displaying the name here, the severity of the disease, and description, and possible next step treatments.
We also made a teachable machine algorithm. It was made by uploading 10 pictures of each disease and using another 2 pictures as test data. The algorithm is almost always able to identify the disease with almost 100% accuracy. One of the main advantages to using a teachable machine is that not only can a picture be uploaded, but the algorithm can take a live feed from the camera to diagnose the disease. The algorithm can identify between a poison ivy rash and measles for now, as we'll see here. As you can see, we can change the input from a webcam to a file. If I want to input a picture from a file for poison ivy, it's able to identify with a 99% accuracy, which is extremely high. If I want to change the input to a picture of measles, it's able to identify with a 96% accuracy, but again, which is extremely high. And these 2 pictures weren't used for training, so this represents how the algorithm will work in the real world. In conclusion, Disease Detector will enable for simple and efficient identification of diseases or conditions in remote places. The application has 2 major steps, the question stage and uploading an image. The application uses AI techniques such as classification, computer vision, and will be trained on a Kaggle dataset. Information about the medical condition and first-step treatment will be displayed to the user after the condition is diagnosed.
Thank you so much for listening. Any questions?